A woman and 32 men stranded on a deserted and hard-to-reach island for 7 years. The intriguing story revolves around Kazuo Higa. What do you think happened on the island during all those years? The story we're covering today took place during World War II, between 1944 and 1951. The setting is Anatahan Island in the Northern Mariana Islands, a remote and isolated place covering about 20 square kilometers, with a few active volcanoes. Today, if you were to visit, you wouldn't find anyone there. However, until the 1990s, people lived on this island, and the events they witnessed did not remain a secret. Kazuo Higa's story spread across the world. The events began when an American missile struck a Japanese ship, forcing 31 men to seek refuge on the island. Most of the men, young and healthy, survived the missile attack. Swimming from their sunken ship, they made it to Anatahan Island, only to discover that among the island's residents, there was just one woman, 28-year-old Kazuko Higa. Kazuko was the wife of Shoichi Higa, an assistant to the plantation leader on the island. Amid the chaos of the war, Shoichi decided to return to Saipan to check on his family, leaving his wife in the care of his boss, Kikuichiro Higa. He never returned. After his absence, Kikuichiro and Kazuko married. Whether they married out of love or merely to present the image of being married after the arrival of the 31 men remains unclear. The men began competing with one another to protect Kazuko and marry her. In the process, various murders and jealousy-driven incidents took place. The struggle for survival on the island, the shortage of food and resources, and even homemade alcohol and weapons made matters worse. Over time, a societal order began to form on the island, but this order soon collapsed under the weight of rivalry and violence. In 1945, with the end of World War II, an American bomber crashed near the island. While no one survived the crash, the materials from the wreckage provided new resources for the islanders. Meanwhile, tensions and rivalries among Kazuko and the men escalated. The alliances formed to protect Kazuko gradually turned into power struggles and violent confrontations. Weapons and power games set the islanders against each other, leading to several tragic deaths, including Kikuichiro. However, the exact circumstances of Kikuichiro's death remain a mystery. He was either secretly killed or everyone on the island was lying to one another. Nobody provided a clear explanation for his death or the other fatalities. In 1950, an assassination attempt was made against Kazuko, but she narrowly escaped. After years of fighting and conflict, the men finally reached the conclusion: why are we fighting one another? The problem is Kazuko. This shift in mindset changed the course of events. One of the men warned Kazuko, and she first hid in the forest before escaping. She was eventually rescued by American soldiers. After returning to Japan, Kazuko reported that the men were still on the island and requested their rescue. However, the men refused to believe that the war had ended. In 1951, 7 years after the ordeal began, the remaining 20 men were evacuated from the island with American assistance. Kazuko's experience as the only woman among 32 men provides a striking example of power dynamics, leadership struggles, and the darker sides of human psychology within a community. While different retellings of the story offer varying perspectives, the tale of the Queen of Anatahan Island stands as both a survival drama and a laboratory for testing human behavior and societal structures.